everybody. Welcome to a Monday edition of the Today in AZ After Show. I'm Paul Gerke, sitting aside Vanessa Ramirez and James Quinones. You know what my favorite four-letter word is, guys?
What?
Love. Yeah, love. That was it.
I knew it wasn't love originally, Jimmy.
That's definitely what I was going to say.
But I love today's topic.
I know, I do too. This actually garnered some pretty fun responses on Today in AZ this morning, so we'll just throw it right out to you. With Valentine's Day coming up on Thursday, this is like your 7th or 8th warning, guys, so don't screw this up. We were thinking about love and marriage and how the two go hand in hand. A new survey has uncovered some interesting facts about the age of commitment. I think a lot of women my age say that men just aren't ready to be committed. But when are you ready to be married? Well, researchers found it varies. But for men, they noticed if a man isn't married by the time he turns 38, the chances of him ever marrying drop dramatically.
I could see that.
The chances he'll marry for the first time fall further once he reaches 42 or 43. And so we're asking you, the people, is it ever too late to say I do?
Well, Jimmy is living this. I mean, it's never too late.
Yeah, 50 years old, I got married, and it was awesome. No, I was never, but I always wanted to get married. I always did, but I wasn't going to settle. And I had a couple of near misses there, you know, thought I was right. But sometimes when things go bad in a relationship, people get so angry or bitter and realize that, no, they're giving you the opportunity to find true love. It's a good thing if somebody, if a guy shows his true jerk colors or a girl's selfish or there's something you don't like, because they're handing you off to somebody that will appreciate you. And that's what I waited, you know. I broke up with one girl and she said, why are we breaking? I said, because you're mean to me. You're mean
That's
to
a
me.
straight answer,
That was
though.
it. You're mean to me. I can't deal with this.
What was her response to that? I'm just curious. You don't have to share it if you don't
Crocodile tears?
Yeah.
Just like, what?
That should have been story time.
Oh, it should have been.
Well, it was funny because she just went from like, you know, she was really sad to once I told her that, she didn't understand. She's like, what do you mean?
You're like, why are you sad?
What does this word mean? I mean, like, how mean? I'm perfect. I'm wonderful. I'm like, you're just mean. And so I think a lot of people settle for that. Like, well, you know, she's just moody or he just gets like that. No, they shouldn't get like that.
Wait, do you have an example of, give us one example that she did that was mean so people at home understand what
we were going to watch, we were hanging out on a Sunday and we were going to go, there was a football game that was going on and she basically kind of insinuated that morning, hey, how great, we're going to watch the football game. By that afternoon, she says, you know, I'm going to my brother's house and I'm going to watch the game there, and
she didn't invite you?
Didn't invite me. And I'm like, that's horribly mean. And she's like, well, you really don't know. Then all of a sudden got into that. I brought it out. How come I'm not invited?
Yeah.
Well, you know, you really don't know him. And she's dancing around.
And you guys already had plans in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
You know, or basically making plans all day long. Hey, I can't wait to see you. This is going to be great. And by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, she's like, yeah, you know, I'm just really not having a great day. I'm like, that's mean. You built it 2 o'clock. Can't wait to see you. 3 o'clock. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Well, that's just because something else better came up.
Possibly, but you know what? She did me the best favor ever. And
because now you're happily married and in love.
Yeah. And another key is when you break up with whoever, you have to be happy for them. Don't be bitter. If you hold that bitterness in your heart, you take it to the next relationship. And if you meet Mr. or Mrs. Right,
that's true.
Then they're going to see that and you're going to blow it. Be happy for them. I hope that girl finds true love. I really do. Yeah.
I love the comment section here. This lends itself to like telling really good love stories, and we were able to share a couple of good ones on Today in AZ, but the general consensus seems to be that it's never too late to say that, you know, you're ready to get married. Jenna says that, Sherry says that, Jane agrees. I like Marianne's. Divorced after 30 years, remarried after 7 years, married 14 years now, would never do it a third time.
I would never do it a third
Marianne is learning
time.
life lessons along the way.
Oh, Eric says true love is never late and always on time. The older the berry, the sweeter the wine.
Mario, it's always too soon to get married. The other way around there.
You know, my parents did the same thing. They got married young. It's not saying it's never too late, but I mean, I guess you can get married multiple times. So they got married young, and then they got divorced, and then they got remarried again when I was 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then they were married all the way through. But it's just crazy how, like, you end up coming back, you know, you spend some time apart, and then you realize, hey, I really want to be with this person, and I miss them. And then they get back together.
There's like a calming familiarity with like dipping your toes back into a familiar relationship. I've run into that too before, where you're like, you remember how simple things were, but you tend to remember the good things and not necessarily the bad things or the reasons you broke up. Like time sort of like heals those wounds. You know?
I got a great explanation, and a lot of times I think what broke you up early on, right, as you progress and you guys broke up, you're not together anymore, that stuff that broke you up doesn't matter when
Proves
you get
to be
older.
unimportant.
It didn't. It doesn't matter. And then the stuff that brought you together, the love, the fun times, all that. So that's why I think people get back together again. They're like, you know what? God, I'm a different person. When I was 20, I was so volatile.
Completely
I mean,
different.
you could be like, oh yeah, there's my ex-boyfriend. He works at Einstein's. Wrecked the whole day. I'm like, seriously? You brought that up. You had to bring him up.
Yeah, and
Why?
like
maybe you're not over him. You know, now I'd be like, oh,
now
well,
you're secure and
now
you
go
know.
have a cup of coffee with the dude. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Can you get us a hookup on some bagels?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. All right, so Rachel says it's never too late to marry. I just turned 50, but still have hope. Never give up. See?
Susan says she was widowed and then married at 65, and after 16 years, we are very happy. I feel like marriage is one of those things that can be lost upon the young. Like, and this is my own mindset as an unmarried 31-year-old man. I feel like there's just a window in which you can sow your wild oats, and not even just like explicitly like having multiple partners or whatever. I just mean like being untethered and being able to explore and do and be single.
Yeah.
And then once you hit that invisible wall, whether it's 38 like the survey says or something else, like it's time to get your priorities in order and set yourself up for a happy adulthood.
Yeah.
But like before then, I almost feel like being married is kind of like wasting a little of your potential in some ways, at least in my personal case.
Right.
I can't speak for everyone.
You're at that age where you're going to get to the point, though, where everyone around you, your age, is going to be married. So the only thing
I'm already there,
So the
baby.
only thing you're going
Yeah.
to have to choose from are people that are, say, divorced with extended families.
Sure.
That's a realm probably you're like, whoa, I've never done that
Right.
before. Or you're gonna have to go back to like, way young 20s, which is like, hey, let's go party. You're like, hey, I gotta get to
I'm
work.
ready for bed, yeah.
So I remember that realm. That was not a happy realm because I don't, how about somebody my age, but everyone's taken. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I messed up.
I'm getting to the point now where the Facebook feed is not as much about like engagement announcements and it's more about like
Babies?
divorces
Oh,
or
good.
like
everybody
I got to see the kids this weekend and you're just like, oh man.
I'm not doing so good.
Jeez.
My high school friends that got married young, all of them got divorced and now are remarried, and they're like happy in their second marriages. They just said
Yeah?
because they've changed so much and they've matured so much and everything's great, compared to their younger marriages. And then I have a couple girlfriends that I was hanging out with this weekend, and they were the two that were like, oh, we don't want a boyfriend. We're totally cool being single. We don't want kids. We don't ever want to get married. But they were like legitimately like felt that way. And then out of nowhere, when you're not looking for love, both of them are in like serious relationships. And these are two girls that I would never thought would be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And they're both happy, and I was with them on this weekend, and I was seeing how lovey-dovey they all were with their boyfriends, and I was like, this is so weird, And I mean, they're in their 30s, and they said they're completely happy, and they just weren't looking for it. And it happened.
I wasn't looking for it. I was dragged. I met the love of my life at one of those singles bars up to the north, and I didn't want to go out that night. And my friend, she dragged me out, and she says, come on, just, I need a wingman. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. Walked in, and it was all of a singles bar.
Yeah.
And I turned around, and she was dragged in by her friends. She just wanted to go have fun, and that was it. I was like, wow. So it can happen anywhere. I wasn't looking for it. And no, I didn't do it through a hiking group, because once you get through that, you start going into a dry spell. Your friends are like, have you tried a hiking
Yes,
group?
have you tried this? Have you tried that?
yes.
You have a dog? Have a dog walking, or
What about flirting with the
church?
guys at Jiffy Lube?
Or church?
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're like,
There's
just
always
walk around the grocery store.
something wholesome, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, no, gets even crazier there. So yeah, why don't you try a bingo thing? A lot of those women already have money. They're established.
They like to play games.
It's good. They're fun.
I like Wendy's story here. It is never too late to marry. My great aunt's husband died about 10 years ago. She's in her late 80s. Her neighbor's wife died around the same time. My great aunt and the neighbor got married last year,
What?
and they really help each other in their 80s. That's
Good.
awesome.
Yes. Let's see. We have lots of stories in here. I'm trying to go through which ones you've already read and you haven't
Yeah,
read.
Corey says, I'm kind of working my way chronologically, so I apologize to all the recent texters. Corey says, I'm 48, might be ready at 50. Give her 2 more years. While we scan some more of your responses, let's get to our ICYMI, our In Case You Missed It from Today in AZ. I know we're not dealing with too crazy weather down here, although it's a little colder than usual. Not as chilly as it was for this little guy this morning.
A winter storm in Washington, picture. A winter storm in Washington leaves one calf nearly frozen.
It could be a
place.
video. He's frozen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's right. This is Oreo, of course.
Oh.
He was found covered in snow and ice in Spokane. Farmers immediately brought the newborn calf indoors to be unthawed. To warm him up, they had to rub a towel against his body in the same motion that his mother would lick him.
Aww.
Oreo. He is expected to be okay. I wonder if that, keeps them younger.
I've never put Oreos in the freezer before, but I've heard good things.
It's worth a shot. So, and then if you want to thaw them, then you just rub them the same way their mom would lick them.
Ow.
How do you do that again, Paul?
I was thinking about making a joke about Wendy's beef never being frozen, and then I decided to err on the side of caution on the air. But since we're on the internet, we can make those jokes now.
Yeah.
Oreo.
Cute Oreo.
Adorable.
Oh, look at this. Belinda. She's
What?
cutting to the chase here, Belinda.
Oh.
Make sure your future husband is financially stable, is the kind of husband that makes you his priority. Interesting.
Linda, how old are you? Can you share?
Yeah,
You
Linda,
want to
how
share?
old are you? We want to know what your age is, too. Who's talking? Because we want to know what your experience level is.
Wait, I love Sarah's comment. Said, married for the first time 3 years ago at 42. First baby at 43. I wouldn't change a thing.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it can all work out.
I think that timeline has shifted a bit in the 2010s. Like, you're seeing like an older demographic getting married because I think with life expectancy getting longer, people are just like content sort of being in the wind a little bit in their late 20s and early 30s instead of being, I mean, like my parents' generation, marriage as an institution didn't do so hot. You know what I mean? Like, what did they say? The divorce rate at its peak was close to 50%.
Yep.
Really?
We had someone text in, I think Christine texted this morning to say, like, why would you guys want to get married if half of them are going to fail? It's a pretty negative way to look at life. But that said, like, I think that we've kind of learned from the sins of our fathers a little bit, and we've kind of backed off the idea of rushing into something for the sake of rushing into it, for the sake of stability or love or any other reason you might want to get married.
Belinda is 44. She just turned 44, so that was her advice, to make sure you find a financially stable guy. And
Hey,
one that puts
I'm
you
cool
first.
with that. I think both people, you don't want somebody who's broke as a joke, or has horrible credit. That says a lot about them. So in a certain, I'm going to put this out there in a certain way, it is a business relationship. This is sort of a...
Well, that's what marriage is.
It
Yeah.
really is. You don't want to pick a loser on both ends, and no, I'm not looking for a surgeon, and maybe you're not looking for a top-notch attorney, but you want somebody that has a good work ethic, that can bring something to the table, without that, then the relationships, it's top heavy.
I mean, at the end of the day, a marriage certificate is a contract.
It is.
Like,
What it is.
This is an agreement. Like, we're agreeing to share our assets. Like, forget about getting along with somebody.
Yes.
You can get along with a lot of people, but can you share a life with somebody? Can you share a homestead? Can you share a car payment? Do you want my debt? You know what I mean? Like,
I know a lot of relationships that have broke up, like say over money, and it wasn't just about the money. It was about maybe the guy. A lot of times it was the guy that doesn't work. He's like he leaves a job, he goes back again. He's working on a new endeavor. He's not, he stays at home. He's a realtor, so he shows a house at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So he's going to play video games until 2.
that sounds great. I want to play video games.
I want to know, are there those couples out there that are not married but have been together for years, 20 years, 30 years? Because I know there are some couples, I have friends that have been together for a very long time, but they just said they don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want the
Even
contract, the
cohabitating,
paper,
living together
like,
without, being signed to a deal.
Yeah, and they don't have that palimony anymore. That what's that called?
Oh, if you've been together for so long.
Yeah, what do they call that? What do they have that? Or you become married if you're.
If you live together for so long.
Okay.
It used to be a law here in Arizona that you guys automatically had to split your income.
Yep.
You know,
they
things if
don't
you got
have that
separated.
anymore. They don't have that anymore.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so that's good.
Then I would never move in with anybody.
I know, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And it is scary if you have a house or the other person
Yeah.
you're with doesn't have a house, or what assets you're going to be moving into, because you're...
Yeah, so how does that work when you're two adults, right? Let's say you're both in your 40s and 50s, and you probably should be established, right? You have a house, the other person has a house. Like, do you sell a house or rent out the other house, and then one moves in together? Do you both get rid of your houses, and then you both buy a house together?
It's very
Case
easy
sensitive.
these days. I've known a lot of couples that can keep it separate. And I'm not even talking like a prenup. They just keep things... The government just, in the law, the way it's set up is that if you file separately, it's easy. As long as you don't show intent to put your assets together, it's really easy to keep things separate. And then people just do their own thing, or you can sell a house and buy a house together and still keep your stuff separate.
Yeah.
I know people who've done that.
Tax
I
cues for Jimmy
haven't
Q.
done
Bring 'em
that. Yeah, I know people that both split the mortgage payments.
It was called common law marriage.
Common law marriage.
Thank
There
you,
go.
Linda and
Franny
Christopher.
showing love from up in Parker this morning. Never know when love will find you. Never too late. Misha says, I have a couple who are 70 getting married next month. Caterer, fresh flowers, rental tent, all of it out in Sedona. So happy to be doing their flowers.
That's sweet. See, so it's never too late, it proves. Obviously, tons of people get married later. So just because you're 38 and single,
I love all these love stories.
that you're going to stay single?
There was a couple on the Tour de Cure. We do the Tour de Cure race, and they got married. They're old. He went and actually proposed at one of the Tour de Cure events. And
did?
they were older. I don't want to offend them, but maybe in their 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
70s or so. 60s probably at least. And I said, oh, great. How many marriages? They said, this is our first for both of them.
Wow, that's so cool.
And they're happy as heck. I mean, just like
Yeah.
crazy. So I assume they're happy.
Well, I believe in love still, even though I'm single.
You say that with a weary smile on your face. I still believe in love.
My listener, I think. No, I do. And like for me, and for my status, like I just, whenever, like you said, you find the right one. I'll know when it's the right one, and then we'll move forward from there. But until then.
Jennifer's got a good attitude. I'm 41, happily single the last 10 years. If a good guy came along, I would not be opposed to marriage, but I'm not holding out for it.
Okay,
You
perfect.
do you, girl.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's get to some fresh squeezed juice, eh?
Okay. Hey?
Eh? Oh, in
Where's
Canada,
our
eh?
little fresh
What's the
squeezed
fresh
juice?
squeezed juice about?
Woo, woo, there it is. All right, so you all know that we've been doing this 10-day diet challenge thing where we are cutting out carbs and sugars because we are trying to be healthy. But this might be enough to make anyone quit their diets. Try this one for size. Drinkable chips.
What?
Yep. A Tokyo company created these chips. They're called one-hand chips, and I'm calling them, or they're calling them, I'm calling them, the new snack style humankind has been waiting for. The chips come in pre-smashed, so you can pour them into your mouth as you would with the crumbs of the bottom of the bag. So
Oh, so
instead of
they're
eating them
bagglers.
as whole, yeah, they're already crumbed up.
They're
so you can
bagglers.
just pour it in your mouth.
But I like the crunch of the full chip. I like crunching it myself.
Well, these are for people that just want to use one hand, Jimmy.
Old people that don't have teeth.
Counterpoint.
Gummit.
That's what they're called, gummit. Counterpoint, though, the bagglers are often the best because you get all the seasoning on the bottom of the bag, so it's extra salty and extra whatever. If you're into Cooler Ranch, you get extra Cooler Ranch at the bottom of the bag. You into Cheetos, you get more of that dust.
Yeah. I would do that because sometimes you're in a hurry and you need that snack and you're on the go. Like, it'd be good just to have the
How many
one
times have you
bag.
done that with a bag and got some stuck in the windpipe?
No,
Or
mine usually goes
everywhere.
outside my mouth. Yeah. Oh,
Jimmy's eating shirtless, he's got it all stuck in his chest.
I've had that happen. I'm like changing for the gym, and I'm like, there's
And
a
you
chip.
know you should throw it out.
I
It's
know.
just you ate the whole bag.
the best
what do
bite,
you
though.
need the crunch? You know, so
Yeah.
you try to get the bag all straightened out so it's just perfect V, and then
No, pro tip. You take scissors and you cut the bag down to a small
Yes.
size. That way it's easier
Yes.
to manipulate.
Okay.
I've done this before. This is
So see, we don't need
We're
it in
old head at
Tokyo.
this
We can
rodeo.
just make our own here.
grab a pair of scissors.
in case you guys don't know, we like food. We love food. We talk about diets and losing weight because we just don't want to blow up, but we love food. I love food.
I do, but I've been sticking to the 10-day challenge.
You have been?
I'm on
You've
day
been killing it.
8.
Emma slipped up.
You're
She
killing
did,
it.
yeah.
Paul and I are done.
times.
We joked that we were just going to do beef jerky
So good.
and tequila. No more of that.
No beef jerky, no tequila for 10 days.
And what happened?
Screwed that up.
When
we
you-
both had beef jerky.
We literally both had beef jerky. I tried to him this morning. I said, Jimmy, remember the beef jerky and tequila diet? I had beef jerky
Actually,
the
yeah.
other day. And he goes, oh, no. He starts like giving it to
Oh
me. And then he
my
goes, oh,
God.
wait. I had beef
Yep.
jerky.
At the
Really?
Phoenix
You guys
Open,
couldn't
they had a whole
avoid
bunch of
beef
beef
jerky for 10 days?
Nope, couldn't even do
Like-
that.
We have failed.
Done.
I've been good at it. Everywhere I go, I've just been changing up. Like, I went to Top Golf on Friday with my friends, and instead of eating the pizza and the nachos
Yeah.
that they all ordered, I ordered a lettuce turkey wrap. Now, however, it was originally in a regular tortilla wrap.
to ask.
So I asked them, and they did switch it. But you see, if you just ask, then they can do it for
Bravo
you.
to you, though, because Topgolf's one of those places I wouldn't think that you'd be able to stick to that
It was
diet.
hard,
Yeah.
but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this because I want to make sure that I complete this challenge.
Well done. You're only 2 days left after today.
Yeah, but I'm excited because it's over the day before Valentine's Day.
Right.
So then I'm going to
Valentine's morning is trouble.
some chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
some other things, you know.
Real quick story time about the whole Bagler thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real quick story. By the time they get the graphic up, the stories probably are going
Just
to be
keep
over.
talking until they do it. Go.
Ooh, I love making the sound full just a little bit. I had a horror experience one time with the Baglers. You don't know what's at the bottom of a bag if you can't see what's in there. One time I had a bag of pretzels, salted pretzels.
yeah.
This is a very young version of myself that thought it would be a good idea to have like a salt lick at the bottom of a salted pretzel bag, but I worked my way there and I did the Bagler trick.
A lot of
There
salt.
was a hairball in the bottom of the salted pretzel bag. Your face is exactly what my face was. I
hairball?
swear to God, was probably the size of a quarter, and it was a bunch of just like long tangled hairs.
What?
I have no idea how it got in the pretzel
Where
bag.
did you get the pretzel
This is at
bag
my
from?
mom's. So there's dogs around, there's kids around. My guess is that somehow a bag was left open and some sort of hair thing got into it, and I just went for it. And imagine, if you will, 2 tablespoons of salt with a hairball in your mouth. It ruined the Bagler experience for me for a long time. It took a long time to build the trust back up for me to open up a can of chips or a bag of chips.
I just want to see you try to work through it first. That's an odd texture.
Oh, I chewed it. I definitely chewed it because I thought it was a pretzel. And then I reach in and pull it out.
You had a similar experience the other day with your coffee cup.
Yeah, there were a bunch of hairs on my coffee cup.
Yeah, remember you pulled it out of your mouth?
I've got the styrofoam now because I don't trust that coffee cup. 2 days in a row there was hair in it.
Where is your coffee cup at when you're done with it?
I leave it on my desk.
I do this
so
weird
some
thing with
pranksters get into it.
I wash it. It works.
Bro, I rinsed mine out and still had hair in it the next day. Ugh. Somebody's upstairs just putting hairs in my coffee cup.
It's not me.
No, one of them was red. It was like a red hair. It limits the amount of suspects.
Marianne said gross.
Yeah, well, it is gross.
It is
definitely gross.
Melinda says, ew.
It was extremely ew.
I know. That was a good story time moment.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're not eating breakfast while you're watching this right now.
If you are, I hope there's no hair in it.
Yeah.
What time we got? Are we close?
Is it? It is
7:54
7:54
already. We do have to wrap. Man, I was having fun with this one.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all your love stories and listening to our love story or Jimmy's love story. And then, so it's never too late. Never too late to get married or find love. That's great. Especially
Don't
coming
settle,
up on
wait for
Valentine's
the right
Day.
one. I wasn't afraid of marriage. I was afraid of divorce. So that's it.
That's deep, man. Hey, real quick shout out to everybody. Don't forget your moms this Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Seriously, they appreciate it a ton. If your mom's still living, she would love to get something, even if it's just a card.
Or have a Galentine's Day if you don't have a...
Even better.
And if your heart's
Valentine's?
broken, just remember, time wounds all heals.
And food will always love you.
I want a heart pizza for Valentine's.
I just want regular pizza. If you want to cut into the shape of a heart, I'll share it with you.
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 for the next edition of The After Show. Be good, people.